Hello friends, Dr. Prakash Mogi again. Today I am going to discuss with you about the field of teaching, what is the field and what are the current practices going on in the field of teaching. You may be familiar with teaching as a student first of all, and then maybe as a teacher or as a somebody who is being tutored, you may be familiar with the field of teaching. But today I am going to discuss upon the current practices in teaching, like how this field is evolving and how anybody who wishes to be a teacher who has some skills can be a teacher and can earn a good nice living and have a very good reputation as well among students. So broadly the field of teaching is divided into two categories. So let me give you one liner introduction. First of all, I'm a PhD in education. In last 33 years I've been teaching, so I'm quite into teaching. I've been to Australia and I worked at apex level, in national level also. I had a good number of teacher training organizations. So what I'm discussing with you is practical insight into the field and actually tested knowledge of the field. So the teaching is divided into two broad categories. One is structured teaching and one is the unstructured teaching. The structured or the formal teaching is that which goes on in schools, colleges, universities, and the unstructured is the one which goes on in the coaching classes or which goes on in private tutoring or like so many other places. People teach each other and people teach lessons to each other. That is also kind of an unstructured teaching. But let us not talk of those things, and let us confine to the academic teaching. Of course, teaching lessons and learning lessons is also a very, very important part of life. But today's discussion is confined to the academic teaching, what we call as the formal teaching and informal teaching. So, to get into a formal teaching assignment like being a school teacher, you need to do a B.Ed or D.C.Ed, or you need to do some DL.Ed, or you need to do some physical training instructions like BP.Ed or MPB.Ed. All these things you have to do, or if you go to the university field, then you have to go do the UGC NET or the PhD and MPhil. All these things are very, very important to be instructor or teacher in a school, lecturer, or the professors in colleges. You need to have publications, sufficiently good number of publications. So these are the structured field of teaching where you are into a structure. And even in structured field of teaching also, there is a huge scope for teachers who are currently teachers to learn the modern skills, for example online teaching, or to understand the use of technology in the classroom. So there is a huge scope for them also to associate and learn a good number of things from what I am offering. But definitely for those who wish to be a teacher, I have a very, very special message for those who wish to be a teacher but cannot be a teacher because they do not qualify for the entrance examination criteria set up by various B.Ed entrance examination like higher second class at the graduation level or post-graduation level. They do not have, but they want to be teacher. So this is exactly the place where I am talking about. And although I'm telling upfront that these all activities which I am proposing or these trainings which I am proposing are not per se qualified or per certified or recognized by the NCTE, National Council of Teacher Education, but certainly they are going to be make you a very, very skilled teacher. And these days with the advent of the international school, international education opening up so much, and the international schools entering India, and with the FDI and all these things coming to the teaching line also now going to be, there is a good chance that large number of international organizations, schools will set up in India, which do not talk in terms of B.Ed or all these formal criteria which are there mandatory in India, but they definitely talk of teacher training orientation. So the anybody who wants to be a teacher needs to understand the field of teaching and needs to understand the children's psychology and need to have some methods of teaching pertaining to that subject. So all these B.Ed, I am a PhD in education as I told you recently, and I also cleared the UGC NET, a very, very prestigious examination, which only hardly 2-3% different years, different scores, but hardly few people clear the UGC NET. So I have cleared that also. So I am talking with a lot of authority behind it, and I cleared it in 1991. Maybe may not be born by that time. 1991 I cleared UGC NET. In 1997 I was awarded PhD. So with a lot of experience and first-hand exposure, I am telling you this authentic information. The teaching skills are something which are different from what you call as getting a B.Ed degree or getting a DLEd or getting any kind of formal recognition, because they are providing a longer exposure. For example, the B.Ed is providing a 2-year mandatory these years. So for 2 years, you have to study that particular field, and you need to do practicum, or what you call as practice teaching, and a lot of hand holding is there by the faculty. But that is something which is not possible for all, because of the admission, the entrance exam criteria are not fulfilling. And another thing is because of the 2 year long duration, few people can afford to be out of job for 2 years, or then they need to manage that particular thing, that without going to the college they want to do B.Ed, so which doesn't help you at all. So all in all, this is a very very different proposition, and I'm not talking of that as such. I'm talking of a new thing, that you get trained personally and you get trained online and attend my classes, attend my courses, to understand the field of teaching, to understand the jargon of teaching, and to be a teacher yourself. And I'll provide you sufficiently good framework to understand, to teach children in a very very effective way. So what is the criteria which I require for you to be a teacher? So in my opinion, in my expertise opinion, you require to be an adult first of all, to teach, to work, to be above 18 years of age, male or female. That is not a criteria at all. And secondly, you need to be very teaching oriented. I mean, very very inclined to be a teacher, because teaching is something which requires a good amount of consistent efforts and good amount of devotion to the subject, developing the subject and developing a lot of patience with the children. So that is these two things if you have, then rest all things others, like you may be a graduate, you may be doing a graduation, you may be a postgraduate, you may be a PhD, you may not be a graduate also, like you are doing a graduation. If you are 12th, okay, then if you are 10th also, that's okay. So basically it has got a matrix, a large number of assignments, teaching positions. For example, you could be assistant teacher, you could be an ed, you could be teaching ed, you could be a developer of a teaching aid, you could be a developer of a PowerPoint presentation for teacher, like a teaching assistant. So there can be para teaching positions, you can be a test administrator. So it's not that you have to be always graduate, first class graduate or second class graduate, or you need to be a B.Ed to do anything related to teaching. So there are thousands of things you can do without being directly into the formal exposure to the field. So I invite you to come to be together and attend my classes, attend my courses, to be a teacher, and let's teach the children, and let us be a very very effective teacher and do the needful. So there is going to be a teacher training course in February, beginning in February first week. So I request you to join it, and then let's go further and more. I'll be holding a Zoom meeting, a detailed meeting on all this thing for all those interested. So this was an orientation talk kind of thing. So keep your fingers crossed. You'll be soon getting another video that where is it and how it is going to happen. Okay, thank you very much.